Jamshedpur Chayodia School Complex. I hope you all are looking forward for this session. It's going to be very interesting, and as usual, we all have to participate well to make it more interesting and happening. And let me wish all the female participants present here today. Happy Women's Day to each one of you female participants. So we all take pride in being a female, the female ones, especially because we do a lot to the society. I feel we make a lot of difference, and we are the ones who really support the society in the best way. And I feel all the male participants will agree on this. So I hope you all are looking forward for the session. Okay. So welcome you once again to this interesting session. And as we know that to create any change, we need to see the change. And we need to promise ourselves to bring the change we desire for. And today's session is about creating a difference in the teaching methods in which we teach. So when you read about today's session, that is activating strategies in your classroom teaching. So what does come to your mind? A lot of questions, I think. What more can we do? We do really connect with Bloom's taxonomy. We are doing a lot. So why one more session? Why some more strategies are required? Do actually we need them? Or we are doing a good job? So let's discuss on it. Let's look forward. What more can we learn? Or are we doing the same things as discussed? So let me help you out to understand what more can be done, and something which you more can create or adapt to the teaching philosophies which are already present. So we hold our children from darkness to light. The learning cycle, as we all know, starts with the inception, where the child needs to explore. Then there's the concept development and the application. And to make anything interesting and moving the child from inception towards application, it's allowing the child to explore at the first level. If the child gets enough of time or maybe opportunities created to explore, he will, you will be able to create the interest which is required in the classroom or towards his lesson or towards the topic which is intended to be completed for him. But for a child, he needs to know, why am I going to learn this? How is it going to help me out? What's more interesting in it? So here, the entire, before even the concept is concept we plan to building, it's more important how do you incept that, or how do you make the child understand that there's something more you can explore, there's something more you can do, there's something more research in it. And then they start looking forward for the application part. The knowledge or the information may be much applicable in their life, but if the inception itself is not in the right way or not created well, or maybe not made interesting, maybe we lose out on building the concept and lose out in making the child understand his skills or towards the application part. So here, the inception and exploration. Today, the entire discussion will be more about inception and exploration activities, how to make the activity strategies more interesting, or how to create that environment of curiosity in the learning of the child. So we'll be discussing on some strategies, we'll be discussing, and I want you all to participate as and when, we hear these terms or maybe engagements are expected. So like, for any topic, there could be something like entrance ticket or admit, like when you go to movie halls, you need a ticket to enter, right? So for any topic, for the brain to enter, I feel there has to be some tickets or some bonus or something interesting that the child looks forward for it. Why? What is there? I'm going to say in this, okay? So it's about how do you admit the topic to the child's brain. So there can be queries, there can be prompts, to some interest or the engagements to the focus on the upcoming topic. And as we all know that we need to bring building connections with the previous topics, but again, we will discuss on somehow to make it more interesting and more fun. So like suppose if you are doing the brainstorming for the entrance tickets, you can just, make the children probing with the most probable or maybe the best questions which you find more tricky or more interesting for them to understand. Like I've taken examples for you to understand or maybe do it better. Have students brainstorm on the following questions. Do all plants have roots which grow under the ground? Make them think. So do all plants have roots which is under the ground? Can plant roots grow above the ground? Let them think. Have you seen plants with roots growing above the ground? So here, when you make the children think, make them understand, you get some answers, they are more interested to be connected with the topic and they are more ready to be admitted in the class on the topic which you are going to discuss. So with this help, this will lead the children to discuss on the topic aerial roots. We have some limitations in this, that we cannot make you participate or maybe help you out to give more examples to the room. But I'm sure you all are thinking at the same time on your subjects that how more interesting brainstorming can be done in the classrooms. Here again, taking one more example, like the theme is creation of stereotypes and how they exist in our mind. All the students be given an index paper each. You should call out the profession or any other word and tell the students to immediately write down the first image or the word for the profession and word you have called out. Suppose if you call out doctor or maybe engineer, let them draw whatever comes to their mind. And then you will find a series of images, or maybe, when you collect back the cards, that it is emerged in a similar pattern. Maybe a male person with with the stethoscope. So you'll find still the stereotype thinking, that it's the male, not the female doctor with the, people have drawn with the stethoscope. So here you introduce the word and, the chapter, maybe the topic which you are going to discuss on stereotypes. So something more interesting we have to do in our regular lives, that children are more ready and more curiosity is generated in the classroom before even you begin the topic, or maybe you start your explanations or providing a lot of information and knowledge on it. Again, one more, this is a very interesting topic and I feel I have applied this a lot number of times. Like, you can have some small groups made and you can make a lot of stations and each station has a situation which the children have to respond to. And each situation when the child stops, does that activity, he is learning and he's responding that the next station again with the statement or with the situation where he learns. Again, this children team move forwards, stops on the third station where they do an activity and they learn. So this is again a very interesting activity where you can, move on the topic and the subtopics can be completed at different stations with different situations or maybe a role play or maybe a, statements where they have to do some activity and they learn from those. This, I know you must be using this a lot, okay, that what the child knows, what he wants to find out, what he has learned, and how can he learn more. So this is one of the common techniques. I think most of the teachers are using this, but yes, you can use this in a more interesting way where you can just help the children to, summarize or maybe find out what they actually know and what they have learned and how can we learn more. 3, 2, 1. Again, a technique which is more familiar to most of us. 3 things which you already know about a particular thing. Like maybe I have taken here the example British rule in India. So 3 things which they know about this period British rule in India. 2 things they would like to know about more during this period. What happened? and one question related to the key concept of learning, maybe like the important changes which occurred during the British rule in India. So this is the way you can lead the topic with more interest and make the children more familiar with the key concepts of learning. This was much interesting. Okay, pick a chat, think and share. So you can plan a lot of chats, okay, and put in a box or in a tray, and there could be questions or there could be statements which could be shared with children, and children even can be a part of it, where students can be asked to share their ideas. Like I've taken example, what is a beehive? How many kind of honeybees are there? What are they? What are their roles? What is a beehive made up of? What is the function of the honeycomb? How do honeybees help flowers? Lead student to the topic of honeybees. So you have discussed, you have tried to make it interesting with the flashcards coming, you sharing your ideas, students sharing their ideas on the different chits which they pick up. So this could be done in most of your, you can imbibe this in most of the lesson plans and make your classes filled with curiosity and interest, looking forward for the topic. Think, pair, and write. See, as we did pick a chat, think and share. Again, here we have think, pair, and write. So you can pair up your children in teams, and they can discuss on the upcoming topic or upcoming lesson, and write their responses, and then if required, discuss with the class. So here again, I have discussed with an example, because this examples may be more beneficial to each one. Each student can choose a country of interest and prepare a report or presentation. So if you encourage children to be creative, students can also draw pictures of specific food dish, traditional clothing, or even share a craft that originates from there. Discuss with the partners if they have noticed similarities in the culture, climate, or landscape of countries within the same continent. Now, after both the children have done, they can share with the in teams, like if they notice some similarities and why the similarities were there, because maybe they were the countries from the same continent or something of the old history which was connected. Then let each pair write how are they similar or different. Here, when the children get a chance to express with their partners, and peer learning always is more supportive, and as such we say that children are not ready to listen to us, so why not they discuss and they learn, and we are here to support their thoughts or their inputs and make them participate well and make them focus towards our needs. Again, one more example for think, pair and share. Like if you see here, these are some of the characteristics of living organisms. So you can find in pictures, is this number one picture related to respiration or growth or movement? So children will write, okay, and write the reason why they think it is movement or why they think it's respiration. Second picture in the same way, okay, they would like to relate to this. Third, fourth. Okay, fourth picture, please participants do answer. Is it related to which characteristics of living organisms? You can answer through the chat box. Yes, but which characteristics? Sensitivity. Yeah. So living organisms have sensitivity, and here it is related to this. And so similarly, you can ask your children to reason, and when they start reasoning and thinking, they actually, get focused or maybe get involved in the topic which we are planning to cover with them. And after they have done this, they can, actually you can discuss with the class and begin. Think, write, and share. Here, the children are going to think, they are going to write, and as we have stopped here at writing part, here they are even going to discuss with the class their responses. So let the children sit in pairs. Encourage each pair of children to pretend to be astronauts who have just returned from a journey of space. In that role, they will create journals that document what they saw in the outer space. Their journals must be descriptive and creative and include at least 5 facts about at least 3 different celestial objects, like the black hole or maybe asteroid, meteor, or supernova. So let them, meet 3 of the objects and discuss 5 facts. Let each pair come forward and share it with the entire class. So after they have done it, so the pairs can come forward, and this team may like to discuss with the entire class. And then children participate and they learn more. And maybe they are opening statements, or maybe it's completely maybe an idea which you may not be favorable, but again, you can adapt to their ideas, make them understand where they missed out on. So here we move forward to a more interesting idea, quick rights. So something which is, I'll say that not right or wrong, but you want the children to respond immediately to a situation, and this situation is going to be connected with the topic of your class or with the lesson which you are planning to engage your children with. So like suppose you're going to start the food chapter and you want your children to be focused on like why food is needed, what are the values, and what are the vitamins and minerals and other things. But before you start, if you just make them understand or maybe talk about something which they would love to hear, why do we love junk food? So if you let them write, why do we love junk food? And finally, this entire information is also going to be subjective towards bringing in more, making your class more conceptual and making them more understand towards the need. So you may like to talk about why, how the junk foods have been designed. So you can share those information from the net, from Doodle, let them do the research, why we like junk food and why it is cheap and affordable. But still, we all have a eagerness towards it. So what is that? It connects to our brain. Maybe the presentation, maybe the sensory specific strategies which they try to develop. Okay, the flavors they try to add. So this type of informations really creates interest in the child, because here you find the child in him and start connecting with the topic. And after all, this informations are also going to be handy because, children, as we say, that don't eat junk food, but why not? But if you actually teach me what is it, why am I attracted, why am I pulled, and what are these companies finally designing? They try to reduce that cost, they try to add up not the nutritional value, maybe they try to put the cost towards making it more presentable. Word splash. Again, this is something I feel can be included in most of your chapters, where you can just start some topics by putting the keywords and connecting to like greenhouse. Suppose I have taken the example here. Okay, greenhouse effect, which is that gas responsible, CO2. Then this is what responsible for global warming. Then you can talk about some Dunro 3 glaciers, the protocols. So if you see, the entire topic is completed, or the subtopic is completed with the help of these words, which the children can easily remember and complete the information or learnings on it. So this type of games or maybe strategies will help the children to be more responsible towards their learning. Word association. This is again some styles which we really do, but at times we forget to build in our lesson plans. Maybe how to open a topic. Okay, suppose elections. Okay, so you can make a thread. You can ask the children to fill up with words which are connected with elections, like voting, ballot, political parties, Congress, MLA, Prime Minister. And once they have written all those words, they would be liking to move forward, have more knowledge on this, and then the topic of adult franchisee can be taken up. So how you move forward is very, very important. to create that curiosity, and learning is all about creating curiosity. If you fail there as teachers, if we fail there to create that curiosity or bind them with the topic which is coming to be, we will even fail in building the concepts what is required. Acrostics. So here, as we all know, that suppose if there's a word globe and that is the key word, I can help the children to understand the sub maybe descriptives by helping them with starting with word GLOBE. So in the topic globe, what would be the other keywords or descriptors which you want your children to start with? G would be gases, maybe latitudes or something, orbit. So you could like to fill up these words and help the children to, have a list of keywords which they will be coming across when they move forward in their chapter. And then they start looking forward that, yes, this is what my chapter is going to be, covering. Similarly here, even if you don't have a, like when we plan some words like, living organisms, and you want them to know what are the main characteristics of living organisms, and you have picked up the word Mrs. Rain, and Mrs. Rain is all about movement, respiration, sensitivity, G for growth, reproduction, excretion, nutrition. I feel it makes the child's life easier. He's looking forward for Mrs. Rain in his chapter, and he wants to know what is what would be the common between plants, animals, like respiration. Is respiration different from breathing, and other things you would like to cover gradually and slowly as you move forward. Anticipation guide. Again, it's an interesting strategy where you want the child to anticipate something before he starts on the chapter, and then again coming back and summarizing that how far he was right and how far his knowledge is added up to make a difference to the entire learning which he was there. So like when you start with the chapter, like how our heart and lungs function. So before you started this, you made your children jog in a particular place. You kept on jogging. Then you made them slow down, take their breath, put their hand on the heart, on the left side of the chest, and you ask them, is the heart beating so much faster after the jog, or is it the same? Let them cool down. Again, you ask them to jog, and this time maybe more duration, more faster, and then again to relax them. Again, feel the difference, which is much, and make them understand that which time was it more faster, then or now, and so leading to the discussion of how our heart and lungs function. So anticipation activities can be really interesting for children to move forward or maybe connect with the ideas and looking forward, like, okay, there's a difference between the heartbeat or maybe the way it functions. So what is making it happen? And you would be interested to focus on how you're planning to build in the explanations or carry forward with some experiments and other activities. Concept map, I think we all are familiar with, and but yes, using it purposefully or more systematically will really create a difference. Like here, I've taken example of drainage systems. Okay, we do have a lot of this type of strategies, but at the same time, helping your children to work on the strategies, use it while learning in the classroom will really create a difference. If you have taken a look, I'll move forward. Five, three, one. Again, a strategy where the children will, maybe working in teams or thinking to himself, will brainstorm on the 5 best ideas he had on a particular topic or answer, and then work with his peer to reach out to 3 best. Okay, when they discuss together, okay, out of this 5, I eliminate and I reach out to 3 best. And maybe again, like to discuss the most important thing, which is going to summarize the statement. So like, for example, why do we have different times in different countries? So he may have different reasons. He discusses with his friend and then come forward with the answer. Why do we follow the standard time? So this type of situations really help the children to think and reach out to conclusions where I feel the curiosity can be generated, because this is something which they are into, and they understand that, okay, fine, my uncle went to this place and there was a time difference, or make them understand some real situations where the IST is followed, even when they get their meeting time on Zoom and other things. So you can help them understand this very well. Okay, why is it different, and why do we need to follow the standard time? Close activity. Again, this is activity where you can make the children define or may demonstrate a particular word or a vocabulary, and help him to have a vocabulary and what to say definition, or maybe abstract what it means or what it stands before even they encounter these words in a lesson. Like for mathematics, I have taken here example: circle, a shape without sides or corners; rectangle again, a shape with 2 sides and 2 other sides. Side would be a line segment connecting parts of a shape, because at times as teachers we generally forget to use the right words for this right word, making them understand that how a side and a side or maybe a line could be different. Shape, the outline of something. Square, then again a triangle, right? So you have tried to define these words, given them the visuals, so when they encounter these words, they can distinguish and clearly understand the terms in a better way. Read and say. As children, we always need to understand that we all want to understand something, discuss, move forward, talk to our friends. So this gives them a time even to express, talk, or maybe share their ideas with their friends. So let them read a portion of the test, discuss the responses to their partners. Okay, and after they have discussed, you can then post, you can just have some questions, or they may like to put some questions for the class. This activity, how do you can be actually used in situations where that there is a process involved. For example, like when you ask students to share in writing pairs their opinions on the process of digestion, if digestion starts in the mouth. Okay, so when you before you start like even the chapter digestion, you like to put a thought, does digestion starts in the mouth, or is it in other part of the body? Make them think. And I feel this is the nuts of teaching, where you really make them think, because it's very important that if you go on teaching, and which makes no use to them, because they may not be interested because they have not thought on it, they have not thought of the why is it like, and you explain them the parts of digestion, or maybe the parts which are responsible for digestion before even they have thought where the problem is. So let them describe the steps, and you can only just adapt to their ideas and make them more aware of the actual science involved behind it. Again, one more example here. This is on sound. I think you're going through it. So this could be somewhere, there is a process, and you want the children to learn itself from the process which was involved in this activity. And here you can make them write, or maybe share their inputs to the class. So when I'm discussing with these activities, you may be thinking it's too long, but here you need to pick up the best which is fit for the topic which is in progress, or maybe which is the, you're going to start with. Sentence starters are again, something which comes very handy on situations where you want them to complete that this is the best, or maybe the clue for this concept to happen. Like example I've taken, how do planes know where to land and ships know where to sail to? So when children write and they come up with the points like maybe latitudes and longitudes, so at least I know one thing for sure, that latitude and longitudes help planes and to land and ships to sail, to navigate. So before even you start the topic, they are very sure that how this latitude and longitude chapter or maybe the topic is going to help them. Otherwise, it's just chapter to chapter without building even the application part or the thought towards that application part. How is it this going to help them out? So the thought or the roots of application has to be put when you're trying to, building the curiosity. Written conversations, children, because it's a lot of activities here, like we are going through is like more on, hands-on, where children are discussing or writing or maybe sharing those ideas. So for things which they are engaged in, I feel you create that interest, but yes, the topics and your situations which you put have to be very, very relevant. Like take an example here, you can make your children write on this topic, and you have given these 3 things for them to see and think. How can you make a shadow? What is the light source? How is the shadow similar to the object you have used to make it, or how is it different? So after the child has finished writing, he can pass this to the other group. The other group maybe to the other child. This child is going to read this, spend some time, adapt to the entire information, pass to a third child. So this written can be moved to 2 or 3 stages, and each child is going to pass to another child, so that it becomes information sharing in the classroom. And finally, when you are ready to share your ideas on the topic which is already built up in the room, sticky notes, you may like to make the children, go on through like these ideas, and whatever ideas they have, write it and stick it to the room. Let children go through their responses, and after you have completed the topic, let them revise what was the original thought or how they thought it to be. For example, I have taken here, how can you change the size of your shadow? How can you change the shape of your shadow? How can you change the position of your shadow? So here they can write their notes, stick it, and then after the, you have completed some experiments or observations, or maybe try to build a concept, let them come back and read their responses and revise their thinking. Plus, minus, or intergreen, like something which the child feels they agree with. Some statements where they feel they don't agree with, that is disagree. And some statements they may find very interesting, or maybe debatable, or maybe they look forward, what if. Open-ended statements. Okay, so you can make them write in these 3 brackets, and I feel that is going to create a lot of interest for them to look forward to final learning. So situations could be like plants aspirate waste. Let them think. If they agree yes, they can write in the plus statement. If they feel that plants don't aspirate waste, they can write in the minus statement. And if they find no, I feel that there's something interesting about it, I want to learn more. Okay, or maybe what if they may not be doing it, or maybe it is a debatable, he can write what he finds interesting in that. Do plants move? Okay, again, plants movement, plants respiration, plants get food from the soil? Yes, no. So yes would be with plus, no would be with disagreement. And if they find something beyond it, they can always write in the interesting column what they find. Maybe till date they thought that yes from the soil, but now they feel no, it's not from the soil or something else. Journals again help children to keep photos, and if they have the habit of maintaining a journal, maybe for any subject, I feel this would create a difference, and maybe they are more focused to moving forward or to be learning more on the topics. Like for the math journal, I have just made a relevant example. I think the answer is this, because a different way to solve the problem is, I don't understand. The mistakes made most often are this, because of this. What I liked, the most important part of solving this problem is to remember what I've learned about this so far is, I knew my answer made sense when so this type of journals can be maintained, and for each topic or maybe the major topics, the child may like to cover this, and this could become a habit for any subject. I feel makes a lot of sense. So again, the questions to pursue. Suppose there's a topic, and like especially when you talk about the river system and other systems, right? And you want them to be that the child must remember these 5 things or 7 things on this. So you may like that. Okay, fine. Here the questions which you are going to pursue, maybe you all children can take up one assignment. Maybe a team takes up Brahmaputra, one team takes up Danda in the river system, and they would like to put this information which you have detailed on its length, its journey to final destination, the source from which it originates, important tributaries joining it, destruction if it has caused any specific relief features formed by the river, and final destination. So when we have that, these are the things which we will pursue. They will be more clear when writing or maybe summarizing this river systems, and getting to understand why and how these river systems are different, or maybe why they are learning on all those river systems. Then thinking that it is a forced curriculum, or maybe something which is not relevant to them. Similarly here, like one science, them to write to the topic different from breathing, yes, no, and let them write the response. Similarly, is sweat not produced by your kidneys? Then how is sweating a part of excretion system? Yes, no. So this type of relevant things which if they find their thoughts restricted, or they want to know this and it comes from themselves that yes, we want to learn this, why am I not able to think, why is it so simple but yet I am so much confused, then they look forward when you are ready to carry them and hold them and make them more understanding. Role plays or maybe carrots where just make a situation where they learn. Okay, maybe pretenses, what you say, or dramatization. So like for money also, in the store, children giving in money and taking the balances back, okay, and buying things of their choice. And here maybe they act as customers or cashiers. They have to do their job because they are also going to take the change back. Role play where you can divide the teams, one is central government, one is state government, and then where both the teams are discussing what are their roles, functions, what are the how the both central government and the state government is different, so they come up with. Transform tests are very, very interesting at times. When you say that, okay, fine, I'm not going, you're not using the proper test put, and you're converting the information in the form of a flyer, advertisement, or maybe an article, and then ask students to capture the main idea or key points from the transformed test or on an index card. So maybe when you're going to talk about dignity of labor, you would like to use something from Mahatma Gandhi and say, like, so long as you do not take the broom and bucket in your hands, you cannot make your towns and cities clean. And write more statements, about 6 to 8 statements, and then coming to, and let the children, brief on this, about the dignity of labor. Storyboard, maybe, what you say, when you cartoon characters coming up and talking. Letter writing, so you can make the children write a letter on the upcoming lesson, or maybe like here it's the Right to Information Act, and you meet a situation and make them understand that how this right to information is going to help them. Graphic organizers, video clips can always be more presentable, and you can connect with the theme of the upcoming lesson, and children are really interested in such type of things, and it makes them focus towards the upcoming lesson. Snowball fights, where you can write some situations and the children will respond in it, and the other group will pick up the ball, try to prompt on the response, and try to again set the response on the ball, and then throw it on the corridor again. Snowball may be more somewhat more time taking, and but yes, when you have time, you may like to use this. So we'd like to go back and discuss, okay, what all we have learned for the day, so that you would like to pick some and start using those. Okay, so admitting to the topic is very, very important, like brainstorming. So this brainstorming ideas has to be very, very relevant, and so brainstorming is very, it's a very interesting strategy, but how you do it is very important. Then put in the, questions which are unrelevant. Sometimes we just know the topic and we want to build on it, and so we just try to put some questions which they are already aware of the facts, and here you fail to create that curiosity which is required. So the questions which you pick or the way you make them think is very, very important. As we did this, okay, the different stations where children stop and complete the activity and complete their responses, again move forward, complete their responses, and this they land up to the 4 or the 5 important concepts which can be covered in that chapter. 3, 2, 1. Okay, what is the one main concept which they will be waiting for? Pick a check, think and share. Think, pair and write. Then the other was think, pair and write. Example, think, write and share. So think, pair and write. Think, pair and share. So here the child, they are sharing with the classroom. Here they are writing. Quick writes. As you saw that, children are going to. Any example for a quick write? Teachers, participants, for any subject? Any example by the participants on the quick write? Maybe chapter light in physics. So you may like to think it later, but yes, this is very interesting because we want to think out of the box. And here, you give them the thought what they are, which is interesting for them to be connected on. Word splash. Word association. So associating them before even when you board on the chapter is very, very important. And finally, after learning all those words or all those things, where are they landing up to? This really helps them to memorize, even to understand like what all they are going to cover. Anticipation, we all want to anticipate. Even before coming to the session, you must have anticipated like what the session is going to cover. Okay, how is it going to be useful? So, and I know that many of you must have even seen that, okay, fine, activating, finally it's about creating the initial activities, or you can say the opening activities before even when you begin the chapter or you're on the topic. Concept maps. And you may like to apply more of these techniques or more of the strategies or even the subtopics. Not only the opening topic, maybe the subtopics, which again is like what you say, a new topic for the class. Coming to probabilities, the best probable answers, so that the focus is clear. Like we say, pick one of the best. Cruise activity is going to really be beneficial because at times the vocabulary and the understanding on the different words has to be very, very clear, and they are able to distinguish between those, which helps them to build the concepts. Okay, participants, attendance will be automatically marked if you have attended more than 45 minutes. So we don't have to send you any attendance sheet. Read and say, allow your children to talk what they have understood their friends. Okay, so or maybe they come up with the questions and they are more interested to then have the responses for it or learn on the responses. So this is read and say. For many things, there is a process and you want the children to be familiar with the process without missing the steps in between. And here this strategy comes very handy or maybe much useful. How do you proceed with this, or what are the steps in between? And we don't expect them to miss out some, because each step or each detailing will be important. So here the idea is about more detailing of the process or maybe the steps involved, and this really works well. Sentence prompts, that the topic is going to focus on this, and this topic is going to be helpful for them in applying this knowledge on this part. Written conversations. let them write. This also helps them to be more creative, and children then, pass this to their friends. They add up some more interesting ideas and facts to this, and children are reading their friends' ideas. They are writing on it. I feel, makes a lot of sense before even when you have tried to make them focus on the real knowledge of the subject. Even date, I know you all maintain your sticky notes, so even it helps children to think and revisit. Plus minus, interesting, right? So journals, what are the questions they are going to pursue, or what are the learning points? Okay, again, is a very important strategy which remains till date from the olden methods till date, right? What are the learning points? Otherwise, we really fail to understand that sometimes we feel that the children have not grasped the entire thing, or they may have forgotten the two important parts, though they know where, what is the journey of this river, but again, what is the special really features or maybe other things. So it's very important that you list out the 7 or 6 things which you want them to grasp on the assignments which you have given. So what are they going to pursue? So misconceptions can be also cleared when you make them understand what are they going to learn. But how do they think today is very, very important. Okay, teachers, for you, let me have on the chat box. Is respiration different from breathing? Let's play this. Yes. No. Yes. Or is breathing a step of respiration? So you may like to look into it. Okay, so do your little search. That is respiration and breathing different, or is it a step in the breathing process, or is it different when it is compared to animals and plants? Okay, breathing is a process included in respiration. Okay, coming to the second point. Is adjusting faces from a body's part of respiration? Second, please write your answer with point 2. Point, mention the number. Second one, no. Okay, good. So you may like to think on it. And if not, then why not? Any answers? Why not? Even you're removing undigested materials. And if sweat is not produced by your kidneys, then why sweat? Or maybe is sweat a part of the excretion? So even we want to think. So similarly, our children would be more interested to think and move forward with their knowledge, or maybe the information which you may like to have and you would like to share with the class. This type of situations where you want your children to subtract, to add, maybe other situations where you want them to pick up 4 things, multiply and give them money. If one, the price of a chocolate is 20 rupees and you want to pick up 4 chocolates, so how much would you like to pay and what is the balance you're going to get back? So this type of things are going to really help you out in making their life more curious, and maybe the need why they are learning all those things. maybe multiplication or maybe addition or subtraction. Otherwise, it's just numbers for them. And you had sessions on advertisements and learning from newspaper articles, connecting to those. So why not use it more fruitfully to the benefit of building that concept in the class? Writing letters. So even you can find there's art integration, or maybe there is a subject integration in it, because when you use the strategies don't stand alone. You have connected it, and you have connected with other subjects, because here they are writing, they are maybe letter writing is also a part of English, maybe you talk about, and then you are wanting them to learn something in civics. So any questions for the day? Dear participants, we have 2 to 3 minutes left. I would like to take up any questions if you have. Thank you, dear teachers. Thank you for being participative, and thank you for having your patience to learn from this session. And I hope the strategies you're going to use and be making your classes more enriching and more beneficial.
Thank you, Kavita ma'am.
Thank you so much.
It was a very wonderful session.
Thank you, Mr. Kunal, and thank you, dear participants.
Yes. So participant can now leave the meeting.
Yes, thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am.